Hello and welcome to Bloomsday 2020. My name is Michael Toner, and I am going to read you the ending of the Ithaca chapter of Ulysses in two parts. This is part one. What miscellaneous effects of female personal wearing apparel were perceived by him? A pair of new inodorous half-silk black ladies' hose, a pair of new violet garters, a pair of outsized ladies' drawers of India mull cut on generous lines, redolent of apoponics, jessamine, and Murati's Turkish cigarettes, and containing a long bright steel safety pin, folded curvy linear, a camisole of batiste with thin lace border, an accordion underskirt of blue silk moirette, all these objects being disposed irregularly on top of a rectangular trunk, quadruple battened, having capped corners with multicolored labels initialed on its foreside in white lettering BCT, Brian Cooper Tweedy. What impersonal objects were perceived? A commode, one leg fractured, totally covered by square cretonne cutting, apple design, on which rested a lady's black straw hat. Orange keyed ware, bought of Henry Price, basket, fancy goods, chinaware, and ironmongery manufacture, 21, 22, 23 Moore Street, disposed irregularly on the washstand and floor, and consisting of basin, soap dish, and brush tray, on the washstand together. Pitcher and night article, on the floor, separate. Bloom's axe. He deposited the articles of clothing on a chair, removed his remaining articles of clothing, took from beneath the bolster at the head of the bed a folded long white nightshirt, inserted his head and arms into the proper apertures of the nightshirt, removed a pillow from the head to the foot of the bed, prepared the bed linen accordingly, and entered the bed. How? With circumspection, as invariably when entering an abode, his own or not his own, with solicitude, the snake spiral springs of the mattress being old, the brass quoits and pendant viper radii loose and tremulous under stress and strain, prudently, as entering a lair or ambush of lust or adders, lightly, the less to disturb, reverently, the bed of conception and of birth, of consummation of marriage and of breach of marriage, of sleep and of death. What did his limbs, when gradually extended, encounter? New clean bed linen, additional odours, the presence of a human form, female, hers, the imprint of a human form, male, not his, some crumbs, some flakes of potted meat, recooked, which he removed. If he had smiled, why would he have smiled? To reflect that each one who enters imagines himself to be the first to enter, whereas he is always the last term of a preceding series, even if the first term of a succeeding one, each imagining himself to be first, last, only, and alone, whereas he is neither first, nor last, nor only, nor alone, in a series originating in and repeated to infinity. What preceding series? Assuming Mulvey to be the first term of his series. Penrose, Bartell D'Arcy, Professor Goodwin, Julius Mastiansky, John Henry Menton, Father Bernard Corrigan, a farmer at the Royal Dublin Society's horse show, Maggot O'Reilly, Matthew Dillon, Valentine Blake Dillon, Lord Mayor of Dublin, Christopher Callanan, Lenehan, an Italian organ grinder, an unknown gentleman in the Gaiety Theatre, Benjamin Dollard, Simon Dedalus, Andrew Pisser Burke, Joseph Cuff, Wisdom Healy, Alderman John Cooper, Dr. Francis Brady, Father Sebastian of Mount Argus, a bootblack at the General Post Office, Hugh E. Blazes Byron, and so each and so on to no last term. What were his reflections concerning the last member of this series and the late occupant of the bed? Reflections on his vigour, a bounder, corporal proportion, a bill sticker, commercial ability, a bester, impressionability, a boaster. Why, for the observer, impressionability, in addition to vigour, corporal proportion, and commercial ability? Because he had observed with augmenting frequency in the preceding members of the same series the same concupiscence, inflammably transmitted, first with alarm, then with understanding, then with desire, finally with fatigue, with alternating symptoms of epicene comprehension and apprehension. With what antagonistic sentiments were his subsequent reflections affected? Envy, jealousy, abnegation, equanimity. Envy of a bodily and mental male organism, especially adapted for the superincumbent posture of energetic human copulation and energetic piston and cylinder movement necessary for the complete satisfaction of a constant but not acute concupiscence, resident in a bodily and mental female organism, passive but not obtuse. Jealousy, because a nature full and volatile in its free state was alternately the agent and reagent of attraction, because attraction between agents and reagents at all instants varied, with inverse proportion of increase and decrease, with incessant circular extension and radial re-entrance, because the controlled contemplation of the fluctuation of attraction produced, if desired, a fluctuation of pleasure. Abnegation, in virtue of A, acquaintance initiated in September 1903 in the establishment of George Messias, merchant tailor and outfitter, 5 Eden Quay. B, hospitality extended and received in kind, reciprocated and reappropriated in person. C, comparative youth subject to impulses of ambition and magnanimity, collegial altruism, and amorous egoism. D, extraracial attraction, intraracial inhibition, supraracial prerogative. E, an imminent provincial musical tour, common current expenses, net proceeds divided. Equanimity, as natural as any and every natural act, of a nature expressed or understood, executed in natured nature by natural creatures, in accordance with his, her, and their natured natures, of dissimilar similarity, as not so calamitous as a cataclysmic annihilation of the planet in consequence of a collision with a dark sun, as less reprehensible than theft, highway robbery, cruelty to children and animals, obtaining money under false pretenses, forgery, embezzlement, misappropriation of public money, betrayal of public trust, malingering, mayhem, corruption of minors, criminal libel, blackmail, contempt of court, arson, treason, felony, mutiny on the high seas, trespass, burglary, jailbreaking, practice of unnatural vice, desertion from armed forces in the field, perjury, poaching, usury, intelligence with the king's enemies, impersonation, criminal assault, manslaughter, wilful and premeditated murder, as not more abnormal than all other parallel processes of adaptation to altered conditions of existence, resulting in a reciprocal equilibrium between the bodily organism and its attendant circumstances, foods, beverages, acquired habits, indulged inclinations, significant disease, as more than inevitable, irreparable. Why more abnegation than jealousy, less envy than equanimity? From outrage, matrimony, to outrage, adultery, there arose naught but outrage, copulation. Yet the matrimonial violator of the matrimonially violated had not been outraged by the adulterous violator of the adulterously violated. What retribution, if any? Assassination? Never, as two wrongs did not make a right. Duel by combat? No. Divorce? Not now. Exposure by mechanical artifice, automatic bed, or individual testimony, concealed ocular witnesses? Not yet. Suit for damages by legal influence or simulation of assault with evidence of injury sustained, self-inflicted? Not possibly. Hush money by moral influence? Possibly. If any positively, connivance, introduction of emulation, material, a prosperous rival agency of publicity, moral, a successful rival agent of intimacy, depreciation, alienation, humiliation, separation, protecting the one separated from the other, protecting the separator from both.